Hi and welcome back to Plastic Models by Regular Dude and Plastic Models for Beginners, building from a photograph. So where I left off, I had all the primary construction done and I was just waiting for some parts to come in. And the parts that I was waiting for first, before I can really move on, is were the wheels. Because the wheels that come with the kit are the solid press type wheels, and I need the spoke type wheels. So I'd mentioned it on a Facebook group, and someone kindly stepped up and sent me the appropriate wheels, and that person's name is Danny Taylor. He saw that I needed these wheels and he got my address and he sent them to me, and I am very appreciative of that. So Danny, if you're watching this, I really appreciate it. If not, I've shot you a message to make sure you know that I'm thankful. So anyway, he sent me some Dragon brand wheels, and they fit the Tamiya axles on the bogies. They're slightly tight, but they can be twisted on, no problem. And if I put some cement on there while it's wet, they'll slide right on, no problem. So they're going to work perfectly, because as you can see here, these are the solid types. Okay, so with that in mind, the other part that I need to match are the idler wheels. And the idler wheels, the axle is slightly larger. So let me cut this off of here and I will show you what I'm talking about. So the Tamiya axle is pretty small, so this fits on there really wobbly. Okay, that's a big problem? No, it's not. Actually, it's somewhat simple and well within anybody's abilities to fix that. So the way I'm going to fix that, and I'm going to demonstrate it real quick like here for you. Let me move these instructions so they're not in the way. What I'm going to do is take some hollow rod, styrene rod. This particular brand is Evergreen Scale Models brand, and that's what I'm going to use. So the closest I could find was 1/8 inch diameter. This actually measures like 3 millimeters, I believe. So the first thing I need to do is bore this hole out to match the size of this. Okay, so I have my pin vise. I have a 1/8 inch drill bit, which is supposed to be the size here. Okay, and then just carefully bore it out, and if you don't go blazing through here, it will do it. It'll be centered. You don't have to worry about. It's perfectly centered, no problems. Then what you want to do is just really run it through there a few times, and what that will do, just be ever so slightly sloppy, because if you don't, since these are the exact same size, this won't fit on there. So then what you want to do is you want to make sure the end of your rod is pretty square. And what I'm going to do is, since this side is higher here, I am going to use this as the side that I'm going to trim it. So what I'll want to do is make sure it's flush on this side. And then what I do, it's a really snug fit, so if you have to just do a little tiny bit of reaming it out, go ahead and do that. Just don't do it too much, because then you'll kind of defeat the purpose. Okay, that's pretty good. It's really, really snug. But while see, push through, no problem. So then I'm going to push it back to where it's flush, because a cap has to go on here, like a hubcap kind of thing. So that's in there. So then I'm going to take my cement, put a good dose of it around that connection point. And then I'm going to do the same thing right here, so you get a really good bond. Okay, so then you set it aside to dry. Once it dries, cut it off a little bit, and that's what you'll have. Then you can use your blade. You can saw it off, or you can use just your blade. I like to kind of score it around like this, being careful not to cut into the back of the idler wheel itself. Just roll that like that. And you can use a saw blade, but I think for myself, there we go, came off. So then that is nice and flush. So now, whoops, lost hatch. So now that is slightly too large. So we need to get a drill bit that is similar in size to that. In the old pin vise. Now I could measure it, but I'm just going to eyeball it. That one's a little too large. That one looks pretty good. That one looks just about right. So I will use that one. Change up my pin vise here with the proper size. Okay, oops. Should have paused this and put all this together, but hey, it's the real world we live in. Whoops. Okay, so I got that. So now, doing the same thing. I'm going to bore that out, thusly, voila, it now fits. Okay, and that is all there is to it. So if you were able to get some wheels, or if you have to exchange wheels for another kit to get the appropriate kind, that's how easy it is to change that up. Very, very simple. Anybody can do it. All right, so I am going to start cutting off the wheels, getting them all cleaned up. Then I'll start assembling the bogie assemblies and come back and take a look. So I just got all the wheels cleaned up, and I got the components for the bogie system set up. Now, as I said, this stuff fits really well, but I did find something really strange. On one half of the suspension arms, the wheels slide right on, zing, no problem. The opposite side that fits down over top of it, it's just ever so slightly snug. It's weird. I mean, they're the exact same. They have a different number, but the parts are identical as far as I can see. I mean, I may be totally missing something, but these parts are exactly the same, both sides. And you know what? They are the same. They're both A23. They're all A23. But, you know, one or half of them, the wheel slides right on. The other half, it kind of catches. So it's no big deal. I mean, it's just kind of an observation. So I'm just taking my drill bit again, and just reaming it out just a little tiny bit. I mean, it's the drill bit's almost exactly the same size as the opening in the wheel, and I just want to be able to spin freely so I can paint them on the bogie. Most of the time on wheels I paint them off of the suspension, but in the case of any of the M4 based vehicles with this type of suspension, I like to paint them on the actual bogie because they're so small. It's just a little easier to manipulate them. So, you know, just personal preference. So I'm going to go ahead and, you know, keep assembling these, and then come back and see what we've got. Alright, well, I got these all completed and assembled. The only thing I need to do is I want to sand these ends flush, making them look a little bit better. But other than that, these went together with no problems. Other than that, just a little boring out of the wheel to fit the axle, and I just can't figure it out. Just one side of that one part. I don't know if the taper was different in the mold process or something, but it didn't quite fit the same as the other one, but it's very easy to overcome. Did that. So with that, I am going to start getting everything prepped for primer, but I'm going to call this video quits because I'm still waiting on the grousers. So I like to paint, or I like to prime everything at once, and so I'll wait till I get those. So that's the end of this episode of Plastic Models for Beginners, building from a photo on Plastic Models by a Regular Dude, and I will see you all next time.